I was about to start this episode by saying it's been a long time since I've made a video about viewer feedback, where I respond to emails and comments left on YouTube and things like that. But in reality, it's been a long time since I've consistently put out videos at all. The gap between episodes 65 and 66 is way too huge. I really need to get back to doing these as often as possible. So today, just for the sake of putting out another video, I'm going to be cheap and do one of my viewer feedback episodes, if I can get all the right words out. Anyway, yeah, right after the opening credits, we'll get started. Episode 62 was my adventures in Britain, and after posting that, I did send a note to my creative writing teacher in college, Jamie Turner. She is also, by the way, a published novelist, and I have her autograph, so you can shake my hand someday. We have maintained an acquaintanceship, a friendship, ever since I graduated, and we'll send real mail back and forth every now and then. We also found at some point in our correspondence, we found a common enjoyment of the book and movie 84 Charing Cross Road, about the famous bookstore in London. And so when I was over there, I took a picture of the plaque on the wall, and I immediately sent it to her by text saying, "Look where I am." And so then when I got home, I sent a longer letter, and then we talked by email. And in an email, I actually linked her to episode 62. She's not fascinated by men's fitness, by that particular topic, but at the time, it was the only thing I had online about my trip to Britain. And as I record this, it still is the only thing I have online. I did send her the link. She watched it, and she wrote back, "I was a little surprised at first to see that your Britain experience moved you so deeply, but then I thought, well, of course, Brian is an artist, and artists feel passionately. And besides, this dream fulfillment was such a long time coming. I liked your open display of emotion. Some men would never do that." I don't know offhand of any men who would do that. I don't. But again, I don't know if it had anything to do with the actor and creative person in me. I do know that just standing there, when I got out of the underground, looking at the buildings, certainly the cinematic possibilities were running through my brain. They were running through my brain that whole trip. Every road that I went down, every little village I went through. But definitely it was the dream fulfillment. And I've already described it in detail in that episode. But yeah, you saw. The one time I tried to do any commentary on video live from London was hopeless, absolutely hopeless. And I spent the entire 4 hours just, trying. I probably should have just found a corner of St. James's Park or some alley somewhere and just gotten it all out of myself, just bawled mercilessly, and then recovered and walked around. But I didn't, so there we go. And then Taylor from mybodybuildingnetwork.com says, "I can totally understand your emotions about London. I have been there twice, and the first time I was in total awe myself." You may not have the dream of going to visit London, but if you have any sense of spectacle, of architecture, of any of that, it's definitely a city to visit. And maybe someday I'll go back and see the parts I didn't see. As I said before, I was just thrilled to be there. I didn't go with a list of things to stop and see. I didn't come home going, "Oh, look at all the things I missed." I was just absolutely thrilled to be there. So thanks to those two for responding. Let's move up to episode 65. The episode about fat phobia and body acceptance, that whole movement. The one time I really got serious, I didn't get any uproar over that. Maybe it's because my online presence has almost no reach at this point. But of my 146 subscribers, nobody went running, screaming, saying, "How dare you?" Nobody left a hate-filled comment or anything like that. But Jivaz, who has watched pretty much all of my episodes, I think, and I believe I've mentioned him. He is the gent out in the East who I actually inspired just by posting my story on YouTube and Instagram. He has lost over 100 pounds, and if I can ever get out there, he will be a guest on this show. He will. And right now he's going, "Oh no, I don't like being in front of cameras." But I'm just trying to pick out. He wrote a whole paragraph under episode 65 on YouTube. He says, "As fat acceptance and health at any size people try to define fat phobia, it's absolute BS. People can be terrible to fat people, but it's not some sort of institutional oppression. I'll end it here by saying my life has improved since losing the weight in many ways. I even have more energy than when I was an obese teen." And that's, first of all, yeah, congratulations to him. I still am floored by the side-by-side pictures he showed me before and after the 100-pound loss. He did also recently tell me on Instagram he had to go get a new driver's license because he had recently gotten in a traffic stop. And I think that I don't want to put words in his mouth because I don't have the message. For some reason, he had to get out his license to show it to somebody, his old license from when he was 100 pounds heavier, and they didn't recognize him. So he figured it was time to go get a new license so that his driver's license photo and his face actually matched. So that's cool. And I know that feeling. I haven't lost that much, but I know I've talked about it before on here, the before and after from 2010 and 2012, where I discovered just how much fat my face had been carrying because of the stark difference between the before and after there. But just on that comment, I have even more energy than when I was an obese teen. I know that feeling as well because of how much I weighed in my 30s and how much I then lost. By my 40s, I felt younger. I don't know if I can still say that because I'm starting to get, I'm 49 and I'm starting to get those little aches and pains and things that come in. But yeah, it's a great feeling. Which brings us up to episode 66, my epic takedown of stupid TikTok trends. This was an episode I had a lot of fun making. And really, if I had my way, a lot more of these episodes would be a lot more entertaining. There are, as far as I'm concerned, far too many episodes where I sit in this chair and talk to you and maybe have some on-screen graphics to illustrate what I'm talking about to make it just a little bit more interesting than me sitting here talking to you. But life has not given me the time to make every episode as engaging as I would like it to be. And if I waited to make them as engaging as I'd like them to be, we wouldn't be up to episode 67 even after 4.5 years. So, or 5, we're almost done to 5. I started in January of 2019. Anyway, now I don't know if I've told this story, so I'll briefly recap it, just in case it is a repeat. I joined Discord a couple years ago, and I found a fitness forum, had some really cool people and motivation and all of that. But then I got invited to another one because some people broke off from that one because the administrators of that one were actually tolerating some unseemly behavior and illegal photography. And I don't even like bringing these things up because it's such a disgusting subject. Involving people under the age of 18. I don't like it. I just hate even hearing about it in the news. I just hate it. So let's keep things light. I joined this other Odyssey Discord at this administrator's invitation. And at first I was a little concerned because I was the oldest one there by 25 to 30 years. And I didn't want to be perceived as the creepy old guy. I know I can trust me, but I just didn't want them, you know, keyboard warrioring behind my back, who is this old guy. But they assured me that I was welcome, and I was giving life advice on one of the little side channels and stuff like that. Anyway, I slowly developed a reputation of being quite cool, which is a high honor for someone of my nerdy past and my current age. And so, yeah, I'm welcome there. My nickname is now Uncle Chad, because one of them called me a Chad one day, and one of them said I was like a nice uncle. So I put it together, and I'm Uncle Chad. So, Chad, if you're not aware, like I wasn't aware, somebody called me a Chad, and I had to ask, is that a good thing or a bad thing? He said it's a good thing. It means you're totally cool and based, and a bunch of other modern internet lingo that is positive. So there I am. I guess there's even an emoji or an icon called the Chad. It's this really rugged, chiseled guy. Anyway, I don't know. I'll take it. It's a compliment, so I'll take it. One of them, I had no idea anybody was paying this close attention to my YouTube channel. One of them actually said about a month ago, so when's the next episode coming out? Which, of course, told me that I needed to get on it. And I actually already was planning to do episode 66. So I was happy to say, well, it's coming out soon. Anyway, they did have some responses. I've got a couple key ones here. James Elliott 3450 on YouTube basically gave me a big W. He left 2 comments, but one of them was just a W, so I'm going to quote that one. W, of course, being modern internet for win. Take the W. The opposite being L. Take the lose. Take the L. You've just been educated. And then Dalius 256, who was the one who actually asked, when is this coming? And he had other complimentary things to say on Discord, but his comment on YouTube was, this was a masterpiece, so well documented, as well as the unparalleled humor. Nobody does it like you. It has been implied to me by some people who used to employ my video production services that I just really don't know how to reach the younger generation, that my choices in music and my video editing style and all of that are just too old-fashioned for what is needed nowadays. So the fact that I can have a young man, I don't know if he's high school or college, but I can have him calling one of my pieces a masterpiece. I take that. That's better than a physical trophy. And I think, in fact, it might be time to redo my trailer on YouTube. I've had a trailer up on the channel for a couple of years now, but because it was made so long ago, it doesn't have newer footage. It doesn't have an updated. It doesn't have updated content. So maybe it's time to do that, because now I could put in there, critics agree, A Body in Progress is a masterpiece. And then also, Jivas came back with a comment on episode 66. You successfully made me laugh and cringe. Yes, well, cringe was... I knew cringe was certainly possible, especially with the makeup job at the end. On the subject of the makeup job, real quick, I do want to throw this in, just a little behind-the-scenes info. I told myself there would be no practicing beforehand. I have never done up my face with any attempt to look feminine, female. I've put on theatrical makeup for plays, and I've put on full green for The Grinch. For the past 3 Halloweens, I've done slappy. So I put on black for the hairline and then eyebrows and cheeks and stuff. But I have never, ever in my life, ever made any attempt to put on makeup in a way that a woman would, to look believable and realistic, going out shopping or to her job or something like that. So rule number 1 was no practice. I think that was the only rule, actually. So, yeah. And then I didn't have a mirror. I had... My camera has a tiny little pop-out window. It's smaller than my cell phone screen, so that somebody making a video can stand in front of the camera and see kind of what image they're getting. And I'm looking at it right now, and you can see me, and it says record over my head, and it has a bunch of other stuff. But it's, when I'm sitting back here trying to put on eyeliner on this tiny little ridge under or over my eye, that's just hopeless. And I was tired, so my eyes were starting to blur up. The whole thing was a mess, which I think actually contributed to the stunning beauty. Oh, that's hideous. Oh, that's just hideous. Of the final product. I'm a little dismayed that Maybelline and other makeup companies have not called me in to be part of their new, modern woman woke campaign or whatever. Oh, and then Jazz. I missed Jazz. Jazz left a comment. So slay at the end. Yes, and that's more modern internet lingo. Slay means you're knocking them dead, babe. And I may have. Probably not in a good way. I need to close today with a very serious issue. I have been posting these videos to YouTube for 5 years now. Of course, I had previous attempts before that. So this is technically a reboot, but it is the official channel. It's the high definition channel. I only post the episodes when I'm absolutely ready to. Even then, a couple of mistakes have gotten through. But in 5 years, I have a net subscriber list of 145 people. Within the past year, I think, my wife started. She didn't start her YouTube channel about quilting, but she did start taking it seriously and publishing regularly. And within the past maybe 3 or 4 months, she went from about 20 subscribers to just today, 150. Her little videos made on her cell phone, hovering over her workstation, low resolution, and she's got more viewers than the guy who pours his cinematic degree into every episode, crafts them carefully with graphics and music, and she's ahead of me. I need your help. If you are a man who has found this channel entertaining, who has benefited from it, maybe you are like Jivas and you have been inspired to lose some weight or get stronger. Maybe you've learned something from one of my teaching episodes. And more importantly, if you know someone who could benefit from watching a 40-something average white guy attempt to get in shape, please share the YouTube channel. And if you haven't subscribed, please click subscribe. Please. Because I really need to blow her out of the water. Just to put it bluntly. I need to be able to walk into her office there and say, "Ha, I got you beat." I think that outranks even my dreams of making a feature film. And it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up. So spread the word, spread the channel, share the link, click subscribe, click like, click the bell, just click things. Click all over your screen. Help a guy out, okay? And so the
150